The tea party from hell is about to begin, and all of the freaks and weirdos from the One Piece underworld are attending the grandest wedding in the entire sea. Not only that, but we are formally introduced to what I consider to be one of the absolute most badass characters in the series. The son of Big Mom, Dogtooth Charlotte, otherwise known as Katakuri. This guy is freaking wicked looking. It looks like what would happen if Zoro became a biker, and he will kill you with motherfucking jelly beans. Where do I even start with this week's chapter of One Piece? They introduce so many brand new characters who are all just freaking awesome and have some fantastic designs. Hell, freaking Big Bird showed up in this chapter. Also, I swear that Oda must be on some sort of weird LSD when he came up with this arc, because, man, this has got to be one of the most visually stimulating chapters of One Piece I've ever seen, and it has got me so excited for the anime version. And frankly, it's kind of hard to keep up with all of it. I felt drunk after reading this week's chapter. There are just so many new characters, and that's not even counting all of the ones who were introduced at the beginning of this arc, not even counting the fact that just about everything on Whole Cake Island has a friggin' face. With that in mind, this still was a very simple chapter, but definitely played to the strengths of One Piece, which are its incredibly creative character design. So let's just talk about that first. So the story this week is that we got everybody getting ready to go to Big Mom's wedding. All of these big characters from the underworld have arrived, and everybody's trying to sneak in, including Capone and his group, and they also managed to introduce Dogtooth Charlotte, who, like I said, his actual name is Katakuri. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that for all of the frickin' pronunciation Nazis out there. My only advice is, in order to get over it, get laid, you frickin' dweebs. Dogtooth is frickin' awesome. I love the design of this character. His bounty is also kind of ridiculous, being 1,057,000,000, making him arguably one of the most strong characters that we have seen from the entire series. That and the fact that he has a very powerful ability. Not only can he kill you with jelly beans, but he also happens to be a master of observation hockey to the point where he can actually see into the future for a couple of seconds. Setting up this scene for you, there's a great moment where Capone and his group are getting ready to walk in, and before you go into the wedding, you're gonna have to sort of get pat down first. Make sure you're not there to take out Big Mom. And because this guy can actually see into the future, he actually ends up killing this one guy by the name of Jigra. He proposed that this guy was coming here just to get revenge against Big Mom, and like I said, he kills him with a jelly bean. He flicks it right into his forehead and it explodes out of the back. Who would have thought that one of the most violent scenes from the series would involve a freaking sweet confection? All I know is, this guy's cool. Very much like his brother and sister, Cracker and Smoothie, he's very tall and very intimidating, and has the appearance of a biker. He's got these cool spurs on his boots, he's got skulls emblazoned on his belt and on the tattoo on his arm, with his cool kick-ass scarf and this badass scar going across his face. He just looks so damn awesome, and the fact that they introduced this character leads me to believe that someone is going to fight him. I just have no idea who that's going to be, but a lot of people believe that, of course, Luffy is going to throw down with Big Mom, because that's sort of the formula that goes down in One Piece. Arrive at an island, help out some people, fight the big bad villain, move on to the next island, rinse and repeat. Although, I would love to see Luffy actually take on Dogtooth. I just think that it would be pretty damn fantastic. If only to see more of what this guy can do, and I can't wait to see whoever's going to fight against him, how they're actually going to get around his ability to see into the future. Maybe they can just wear down his hockey, maybe they have a technique which can nullify this. Maybe it's just going to be a hockey-on-hockey battle. That sounds pretty Canadian, but actually it's going to be pretty freaking badass. There's also a great scene at the beginning of the chapter where Jinbei makes it painfully clear that, yeah, he's pretty much ready to become the next big Straw Hat Pirate. He actually instructs the other members of his previous crew and family to go ahead and go, get the hell out of here. He doesn't want to get them involved in any of this, and if there's ever a perfect time to escape from Big Mom's island, now is the time to do it, because outward in the sea, apparently her security is not that tough. It's only when you start to get into the inner sanctums of Whole Whole Cake Island, where things start to get pretty damned extreme. And when I mean extreme, I mean some ridiculous brand new characters, like these brand new underworld guys who are all freaking great. First up is Dogtooth, the god of fortune, the loan shark king, who basically looks kind of like a stereotypical gangster, very similar to Capone, with cornrows, black sunglasses, and basically just being big and badass and incredibly full of himself. Essentially, he's sort of a stereotypical mobster, but he seems like he's going to be a fun character. Whether he's a fighter or not remains to be seen, but he does get managed to get upstaged by some of these other guys who I think are frankly a little more interesting. I can't forget Stussy, the queen of the red light district, who seems like she's the most well-mannered of the group. And it's also nice just to see another female character who holds a very large position of power in the underworld of One Piece, which, if the second half of the series has taught me anything, the underworld of One Piece is a lot bigger than we could have possibly realized. One of my personal favorites has to be Drug Peklo, who is this Undertaker character. He's basically like the Grim Reaper, the Grand Mortician, if you will. And he's got a really great design. Not only is he incredibly disproportionate and very Eggman-like, but he's got this big mane which kind of resembles a lion, and he's got this really cool mask on, which is like a combination of like a Lucha Libre mask with a skull. That and the fact that he has a really big damn scythe just makes him look like he's going to be very fun and might even lead to him being one hell of a fighter as well. Without a doubt, my favorite brand new character has to be Big News Morgans, who's basically Big Bird. He's this giant anthropomorphic birdman, which leads me to believe he's probably a member of the mink tribe, but I love his design. Just this super royal looking bird. Like, he has a big top hat on, he looks incredibly haughty and snooty, and apparently this is the guy who runs like all of the big journalism industries in the One Piece world. So every single time that you see those seagulls who are flying around delivering the news, he's actually in charge of all of that, and that's also really important because he's in charge of what people know and what people are supposed to learn about the One Piece world, which means he controls a lot of things behind the scenes, and frankly, I mean, come on, just look at him. He's a big, goofy bird character. He's a lot of fun. There's also Giberson the Concealer, who basically is just a giant raging alcoholic who tends to dress a lot like Beetlejuice. That's really all I have to say about him. And then there's Umit, who runs this shipping magnet, and basically he just sort of looks like your run-of-the-mill stereotypical pirate. But when you put all of these guys shoulder to shoulder with each other, they just look absolutely great. I can't wait to see them in the anime, to hear their voices, to see more of their personalities, and to see how involved they're actually going to be in this arc. What's really cool is we get to spend some more time with them as they actually make their way into the inner sanctums of Whole Cake Island, where they're met up with Sparrow, who manages to create this massive, giant candy escalator to take them directly to the tea party room. It's a really grand, fun scene, which again, I think is just going to pop in the anime version, with everything constantly moving and all of the amazing colors. It's just going to be an amazing visual treat, and it looks just as good in black and white, drawn in the manga form. It's pretty great. Everybody else is sort of just making their way to the wedding in this chapter, where we have characters such as Capone and their group coming in, the introduction of Dogtooth, who, like I said, just looks so damn badass. I can't wait to see more from him. Germa 66, which is also making their way to the tea party room as well, all decked out in their royal garb, with Sanji's father looking particularly badass, and even Reiju deciding to join their group, knowing everything that is going to be going down very soon. But really, this chapter just ends with a big cliffhanger as everyone arrives before Big Mom as she starts the grand celebration and the ultimate wedding of the series, which is going to turn into what I think is going to be one of the greatest battle royales ever, because it's just going to be different factions, everybody trying to betray one another, and everyone's going to be fighting. The fact that they even went over the plan in last week's chapter just proves that things are probably not going to happen that way. Shit's about to get real, my friends, so strap yourselves in for excitement. So what's the rundown? On this week's chapter of One Piece, I cannot sing the praises of this chapter enough. I don't know how, after all of these years, Oda continues to do it. He comes up with just the most crazy, fun, super designs that I just absolutely love. They manage to be really funny and goofy looking, but also somewhat terrifying and kind of badass all at the same time. And that is something that is very difficult to do. but he has managed to absolutely perfect it in his series, and like I said, I did feel drunk after reading this chapter just because there are just so many things which are constantly being thrown at the viewer, and it just begs rereading the chapter. If not only that, for the amazing dialogue, but for the introduction of some great characters. I think most people are going to be talking about Dogtooth, Katakuri, and I mean, why wouldn't you? He's such a freaking great looking character with a unique ability that we've never seen before in the series. The ability to see into the future, which I think is going to lead to some really intense action scenes, and I'm just very anxious to see who's actually going to be fighting against him. In fact, this is probably the first arc of One Piece where I can't fully predict what's going to go down, because before, One Piece did follow this very simple formula. This time, I just don't think it's going to be that simple, and the fact that half of the Straw Hat crew is completely separated leads me to believe that things are not going to be that easy as well. I mean, you have Luffy, Sanji, Brook, Chopper, Carrot, Nami, they're all there, alongside with Pedro as well, and I can't wait to see how they're going to get out of this, if Caesar Clown's gas bombs are going to work, if Capone is actually going to have to go up against Dogtooth. There are just so many possibilities, so many variables for this arc, that frankly, I think I'm going to have to do a whole separate video about it just to come up with my predictions. What I will say is, this week's chapter, from a visual and storytelling standpoint, was absolutely pitch perfect. This is the reason that I read and watch One Piece, for all of the things that were going down this week, and frankly, my friends, I could not be more excited to see next week's chapter. I've already talked about a lot of the new characters in length in here. Like I said, I love Big News Morgans, and I absolutely love the design of Dogtooth. He just looks so incredibly freaking metal, and I can't wait to see more from those characters. The fact that Cracker was so strong, and Luffy had to bring out Gear 4th against him, and he had only a bounty, I believe, of like 860 million, and this guy's got a bounty that's bigger than freaking Jack of the Beast Pirates. Man, shit's gonna get awesome, guys. So, loved this chapter from beginning to end. Loved everything about it, and you should definitely read this week's chapter, guys. I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. Most importantly, I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of this week's chapter? What did you think of all the brand new Underworld characters? Did you have a favorite? What do you think their abilities are going to be, if they are going to be fighters? What did you think of the introduction of the character of Dogtooth? Do you like his design, his ability to kill people with frickin' jelly beans? Or the fact that he can see into the future? Who is going to fight against him? What fights do you want to see? What do you hope to see from the Big Tea Party Massacre? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things One Piece related. Please leave me a comment or two, as I'd love to chat with you guys about this week's chapter. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I will see you guys next time. And as always, stay dandy, baby.